Eve, and I absolutely love using the wall for my yin practice at night. It helps me fully relax because I've got the wall to support my body. So I've got a few props here today. I've got a blanket, I've got a bolster, 2 blocks and a strap. You don't need any of these to enjoy a practice up the wall. You could do it totally without any props at all, or you could just grab some household pillows or blankets from around the place and use them in the same way. So let's get started. I'm going to place my bolster up against the wall for this little short yin practice, taking it as close to the wall as you comfortably can, but not completely against it. So you give yourself a little bit of space. And we're going to bring our sacrum to the bolster and then place the legs up the wall. Now, some people like to take a blanket underneath their shoulders for a little bit of comfort, or the blanket on top for a little bit of warmth. So if you've got a blanket handy, that might be a nice thing to do. Making sure the bolster is connected to the sacrum, you can start to shuffle yourself a little closer towards the wall. And we're going to start with Viparita Karani, or as it's known in a common yin practice, waterfall pose. Spread your arms out wide. I like to have mine like a cactus shape to open up across the chest. And then bring your legs and just press them up against the wall gently, letting them sort of flop into jelly. Take a deep breath. Let it all go. Now we'll be here for about a minute before we move into our next shape. As you're here and relaxing in this posture, it can help to visualize the energy of a waterfall traveling down the fronts of your legs. Imagining this downward current of energy becoming heavy in the pelvis, slowing down your breath and just starting to notice any thoughts that occur without judgment, without needing to label them. Letting your body be supported wholly and fully by the bolster. Even if you just did this one shape instead of a whole practice, it would be enough to bring yourself into that state of rest. So it's a really beautiful thing to do before bed or at the end of a stressful day. Our next shape is going to be a straddle against the wall. Similar energy of the shape, but we widen the feet. Now, if this is as wide as you'd like to go, this is still the shape. You can go as wide as is comfortable, and pressing your heels against the wall is going to keep you in that position. So there's that little bit of support there that will help you fully relax into this shape and start to stretch into your adductors, your inner thighs. And some people feel a little bit vulnerable in the knees in this position. If you're feeling any discomfort, bring it to a less wide stance, and you can take your hands and support the sides of your legs in this shape as well. We'll be here for another minute. Now you can really start to become heavy in the upper body. Let your shoulders slump down in towards your mat or into the floor. Let your feet actively relax, your fingertips actively relax. Notice the sensation of your breath, the rise and fall of your chest. Now, with the assistance of your hands, so as not to shock the body or shock the groin, gently bend your legs and bring them back to center where you started. Now is a really good time to move a little bit further away from the wall. So I just like to shuffle like a little inchworm away from the wall as far as is comfortable, to bring your knees parallel to your hips and your knees parallel with your ankles. So we're looking for that 90-degree angle there. And then you can cross your right foot or your right ankle over the top of your left femur bone. So this is a pretty challenging position for a lot of us that have tight hips. So even me here, I need to move a slight bit away from the wall to feel comfortable in my knee. It's helpful to leave your foot engaged a little bit to encourage some energy of this right knee away from your face and towards the wall, so you get an active glute stretch. I'm also pressing energetically through my left heel as well. So there's energy in my left leg too. It's not so much a passive stretch as it is an active stretch. So this is a really nice posture to replace a pigeon pose on the floor. This is called a reclined pigeon pose, and it's much more supportive with less of a gravity down onto the knees. So when you turn that pigeon pose onto your back, it can release a little bit of that tension and make this more accessible and more enjoyable for a lot of our bodies. We'll be here just for one more breath. And then sweetly release. Bring your right foot back to the wall. Your left foot, cross it up and over and find that same reclined pigeon shape. Now no two sides are perfectly symmetrical, so you may find that this side feels tighter. It might feel harder, it might feel easier. But creating that same energy of your knee, your foot, and your right foot pressing against the wall. Keep slowing down your breaths, softening your shoulders into the mat. Take one last breath in this position. Let it all go. Sweetly release from this side. And now roll off your bolster onto your side and bring yourself back to your mat. Setting up for a really restful Shavasana. So I like to take the bolster beneath the knees for Shavasana so that it takes a little bit of that pressure out of the curve in my lumbar spine. Some people prefer to do it without the bolster. Make yourself as cozy as possible. You might even like to do this in your bed if you're doing this as a nighttime practice, just to make sure that you're ready to drift off, rest, and into sleep. So settling into Shavasana, soften your shoulders, your spine. Take a deep breath through the nose. Let it all go. And now let's start an active relaxation. Imagining that you're like a fish tank and you're filling up with warm water. Starting at your feet, just imagine what that water would feel like, filling up through the ankles, the calves, past the knee, actively relaxing each part of your body with your mind as that water travels up the thighs, to the hips, the back and the torso, to the chest and shoulders, the arms. Imagine that water trickling past your elbows into each fingertip, filling up the hands as they become heavy and full with water. Down the neck, the back of your head, the tip of your nose. Imagine your whole body becoming very heavy, as if it could melt through the floor. And you can stay here and drift off into your sleep or into your shavasana. Otherwise, if you're ready to move and come back to waking life, start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Invite some enlivening breaths back into your lungs. And then roll over onto one side once again. Be there for a moment. And then make your way slowly back up to a seat. Check in with how you're feeling, if you're feeling relaxed, if you're feeling rejuvenated. I hope you enjoyed this really restful, short practice, and I hope to see you again soon.